One. Hi, folks. It's the Bradley J. Show, and we're live with Emily Sweeney of the Globe. There are 5 people's lives in very serious peril, and she's going to update us on what's going on. Actually, I'll give the. No, why don't you go ahead and give the broad strokes? Why don't you do it all, Emily?
Yeah, sure. So, the Globe has been following this story really closely over the past few days. There's a submersible vessel that went missing called the Titan um, on Sunday morning. It went down to visit the Titanic, the wreck of the Titanic, in the middle of the Atlantic, and went down. And about an hour and 45 minutes into its dive, it lost communication with the surface ship. So there's 5 people in this little vessel, and there's been no contact, and there's been a massive search for it. And yeah, time is ticking away because there's only a limited amount of oxygen and breathable air, on board.
I think I neglected to say that Emily's a Boston Globe reporter, and so I apologize for that. And you did the story on this, so sorry about that. First, so you're saying there's a search around the surface area. If they had popped up and were floating around incommunicado, someone would have seen them. But no. So they're down underneath somewhere, and seems like it seems like if they could come up, they would have come up if they didn't have communication. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's so. I mean, the more time goes on, the worse of a situation it's looking like. I'm just one of several reporters who have been, following the story for the Globe. But yeah, so they went down right at the wreck site. Okay, so that's 400 about 400 miles south of Newfoundland, about 900 miles east of Cape Cod.
So the wreck being the Titanic.
Yeah,
That's
and
the whole thing. You pay money, like I don't know, $250,000. I have
yeah,
no idea how much
exactly.
it is. You go
Quarter of a million.
down, you go down and view the Titanic, and there's a bunch of probably rich people, and the owners on board too. Total of 5 people.
Yeah, so it's a $250,000 was the fee for this most recent expedition, and to be a passenger on board this, aboard the Titan. But it's there's about 40 hours left. As of like 1 o'clock today, the U.S. Coast Guard had a press briefing, and they said that there's probably about 40 hours of breathable air left on the
So,
vessel.
are
So
there any other vehicles that can go down that far and look for them, or is it that they're those vehicles do exist? They're just too far away to get to them. Why can't something else? If this exists and could go down there, there must be something else that can go down there.
yeah, well, I mean, it takes a lot to go down as far as where the Titanic is, because, the Titanic, that's about like, I think 13,000 feet. That's
Yeah,
like
12,
two
12.
miles down, and so that's a long way. And while there are, vehicles that can get down that deep, I mean, the other thing is that we don't know where it is still. Okay,
Yeah.
so the vessel really, there hasn't been any communication since Sunday morning. So that means, like, and the search is going on in a huge swath of the ocean there. And they said that they've like searched like the area of like larger than Connecticut. So they don't know how deep it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or,
So it's a
there's a lot of
3D
unknowns.
thing. It's a 3D
Yeah,
mystery. They don't know where it is uh, on on the surface, and they don't know where it is in depth either.
yeah,
I looked
yeah.
it up, by the way. Yeah, it's almost 13,000 feet, and at that depth, you probably looked it up too. It's 390 times greater pressure than it is on the surface. 390 times. Bad
Yeah,
news.
so I mean, that's what, if there's been like people are speculating, like, what happened? Did they just lose communication? Are they, what I mean, floating around somewhere, just like, close to the surface? Were they able to surface? I mean, that's becoming, obviously they haven't been found yet. If for any reason, if there was like any leak of any sort, that would be catastrophic, just because of the conditions that deep.
Yeah. I mean, it could
So
have imploded. It could have gotten crushed, right?
I mean, with a leak, I'm not a physicist, you know what I mean? All I know is that the experts who have said that, like, if there's something like that to happen, like, yeah, it would not be good, it'd be catastrophic. And, if they got caught on something, like, let's say, like a net or like part of a wreckage or
Oh
something,
yeah.
and again, you're working with this limited window of time and breathable air that's available in this vessel. And the lack of communication is just, yeah,
It
it's
seems like if they got caught on something, that they'd still be able to communicate.
Well, you know what? Again, at depths like that deep, that's what I thought too. You know what I mean? But the way this vessel works is it usually gets text messages of sorts, like very short messages to guide it along and give it directions to
Hmm.
where it's going. And in the past, so David Pogue, he did a video for CBS, and he actually like went into this same exact vessel, and they lost communication temporarily on it. Not
Hmm.
while he was down there, but while he was out on the expedition on the boat. So it's not unheard of, but I mean, for it to be this long, I mean, that is a huge difference between like losing communication, for a couple hours than for, this is long
Okay.
since Sunday morning.
Okay. And again, this is like a tour. It's
Yeah.
a rich,
Yeah.
a rich people tour, and two of the people on there are a man and his son. I understand.
Yeah, that's what we were told. And also, yeah, and so it is it's a private company that runs these, tours. It's kind of similar to space tourism in a way,
Hmm.
but it also supports scientific research. They always have, kind of like a mission involved with these little voyages that they take down to the Titanic. But it's really dangerous, and unfortunately, we're seeing now really what the dangers are. So we're going to be watching the story closely at the Globe, and hoping for the best. But it's becoming more dire, like as time goes on.
Is high risk tourism becoming more of a thing?
You know, I don't know. But I know one of my colleagues, Spencer, he's actually working on a story, I think, about that. So there should be a story in the Globe that looks a little bit more about, some of this adventure tourism. And
This this is not part of your job to know this, but recently somebody fell 4,000 feet to their death on a bridge in the Grand Canyon. Yeah, you
okay.
happen to know? Do you just happen to know anything about that? How does that happen? How does that happen to one person the day? Is it a suspected suicide, or was they messing around, or do you know anything?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know anything about that incident, but you know what I mean? Like when you're on a tall ledge like that, like one false step, but I
Yeah.
don't know anything about that one in particular.
All right. Well, prayers, as Boston Bob says, prayers to the passengers. Quick question: would you do this? You're an intrepid, fairly intrepid person. You're a reporter. What if the Boston Globe said, "Sweeney, yeah, Sweeney, this is your boss, Sweeney. We
Mhm.
want you to go down on this submarine down to the Titanic." Yeah, are you gonna go down? Are you gonna do it?
You know what? I would be like, no, no, thank you.
You'd say
So,
no.
no, no, I'm pretty adventurous, right? But like, I've looked at so many pictures of this sub, and I wouldn't want to be crammed into a cylinder
Right.
that small with a whole bunch of people and going down that deep. It's not my thing.
This is just having fun. What if they said, "If you don't do this, we're going to fire you"?
You know what I mean? I guess I'd be shopping around my resume. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't think of anything. Like, I don't even think you could pay me any amount of money. And I love the Titanic too. I've always been fascinated by the shipwreck and everything.
Yeah.
So
All right.
yeah, that's just me. A lot of people are willing to pay $250,000 for the chance, or I bet those people would even pay more.
Yeah. It seems like, people with normal amounts of money, we spend a lot of time and get a lot of pleasure out of normal amounts of money and the normal things that people can do with normal amounts of money. When you get super rich, sometimes you feel the need because you're bored, because you've done everything. You look for something different like space or going under the sea. And I do want to congratulate you on, I believe you finished your book on the real Dropkick Murphy, because I saw a video of you taking a copy of it
Yeah,
to Murphy, somebody who.
yeah,
Why
yeah.
don't you talk about
Dropkick
the book
Fun.
and who you took the book to?
Yeah, so Dropkick Murphy, A Legendary Life, just came out a few weeks ago. It's a labor of love of mine, a book I've been working on for like really it took about 10 years. And it's about the professional wrestler who that's how the band gets their name. And he ran a detox center for alcoholics, um, and also like a amazing training center for like boxers and elite athletes. So it's a really cool story, and yeah, the book is out, and I'm still kind of in shock, honestly, about it. And yeah, please check it out by all means.
And what's the title?
Dropkick Murphy: A Legendary Life. Actually, I have a copy right here.
Okay, there it is. Hardcover. Is that a hardcover?
Nope, soft
No.
cover,
Okay.
but it's a great like photo. I mean, an image
Yep.
of Dropkick doing his thing, drop kicking a guy.
And he was from Western Mass, right? Like Acton or something.
Yeah, he was raised in I'm sorry, born in Malden, raised in Medford, and then his detox place was in Acton. So
Okay. And you have other books. Crime. You're kind of a crimey reporter and writer, correct? What? Tell
crimey,
me.
yeah.
We got one or two books on that.
Yeah. So I have another book coming out later this year, kind of about like the mob wars in Boston in the '90s, and also I don't know if you remember the crazy shooting that happened at the 99 restaurant in Charlestown,
Yes.
1995. It
I
goes
know
into
someone who had a relative there.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So that's my next book that will be coming out later this
Oh
year.
wow.
Yeah. So,
Very good.
um,
And you have? Did you mention your North End book?
and and then my two previous books,
Yeah.
Gangland Boston and
Yeah.
Boston Organized Crime.
Yeah.
So, I highly recommend. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased, but
Right. So search by author, and you'll find probably all those books.
yeah, for
Emily
sure.
Emily Sweeney. Well, as always, thanks a lot. Appreciate it, and thanks for the heads up on the article you did in the Boston Globe. What was the title of that, so somebody can search that?
You know what? The coverage of the missing sub, we've had actually like several stories. I was working on two different ones today. So right now it's front and center on our homepage. So if you just go to the Globe website, you'll be able to see the latest coverage that we have.
Speaking of Globe and crime, you had wasn't it? You had a Globe reporter who was really involved with the art theft at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. Do you know anything about any developments on that, or are there just no developments?
You know what? I can't really speak to that, but my colleague Steve Kirkshin, he's been following it closely, and he would be the guy to ask,
Right.
So, I mean,
Okay.
last I checked, it's still an enduring mystery. But
And Steve took me to the Gardner Museum and gave me a tour
oh, nice.
that included his theories. He took me in,
Oh,
and
that's good.
he told me his theories and told me why he thought that.
Nice.
I know.
Yeah,
I bet he'd do
inside
that for you. He loves doing it. But I haven't heard anything about it since. I don't know if there have been any new developments. That is so weird. I wonder if
is.
they'll ever find that.
You never
Back,
know.
just to address one question. Somebody asked, back about the submersible. Don't they use a black box for location purposes? And then Phil Cates says he addresses that. Oh, where is it? The black box is used to record data. It's not a locator. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's that. Thank you, Phil. And you would think they would have a locator, though, a beeper or something
Something.
that would give a signal. Well, we'll find out all that as the time unrolls. So
Yeah.
Emily Sweeney, thank you very much, and please keep me updated on this and any other stuff you want to talk about. Thanks.
Will do. And
And
thanks so
correct-
much, Bradley.
Okay, and congrats on all your books, especially your latest one on
Oh, thank
Dropkick
you.
Murphys. All right, bye bye all.